Hi, and welcome to another life lesson moment. On a video from a few weeks ago, we talked about the 10 Commandments, and I gave you the key words and encouraged you to memorize those 10 Commandments, and not only memorize, but really be thinking about those every day and focusing on those, incorporating those into your life as the foundation for creating a successful life. About 3,500 years ago, those commandments, not suggestions, but commandments were given. I haven't been perfect in living all of those, but that's what life's about. It's about getting back up and starting again and brushing yourself off. So just as kind of a repeat or a reminder of those, number 1 is 1. Thou shalt have no other God before me. 2 is zoo. Thou shalt not worship graven images. 3 is tree. Trees have veins. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. 4 is fort. Keep the Sabbath day holy, because there's holes in forts. So keep the Sabbath day holy. 5 is family, because that's the average size of the American family. The head of the family is father and mother. Honor thy father and thy mother. 6 is sticks. Hit someone over the head with a stick, what happens? You kill them. Thou shalt not kill. 7 is heaven. In order to get to heaven, you must remain pure, and thou shalt not commit adultery. 8 is gate. Gates are made out of steel. Thou shalt not steal. 9 is lying. Thou shalt not lie, or thou shalt not bear false witness. 10 is tent. Thou shalt not covet. Tents are used to cover things. Thou shalt not covet. So those are the 10 Commandments. So life lesson. One of those commandments, 8 is gate, thou shalt not steal. One of the life lessons I learned was the importance of not stealing. I was always taught I shouldn't steal. But in the 8th grade, on a cold winter lunch hour at Madison Junior High, I went with some of my friends to Johnson Drug for lunch. They had an old, it was back when they used to have drugstores where they had places where you could get hamburgers and things inside the drugstores, and the great old-fashioned milkshakes, perfect. So I went to Johnson Drug, and I had my coat on, and later in the afternoon I knew that I had to go to science class, Mr. Scott's science class in the 8th grade, and it occurred to me at lunchtime that I did not have a thermostat, and he had required me to bring one to class that afternoon. And so after we got done eating, I remembered as I was getting ready to walk out, I need a thermostat, but I didn't have money to buy a thermostat. And so one of my friends said, Larsen, just take a thermostat, they'll never catch you. And so you know what I did? I succumbed to peer pressure, and I stole a thermostat from Johnson Drug, and that was in the 8th grade, so I must have been about 15, so 40 years ago. Stole a thermostat, put it in my pocket. I thought I was really cool. Wow, I've done it. The next Bonnie and Clyde. So I walk out of Johnson Drug and I reach into my coat pocket, and I swear that there was no thermostat. To this day, 40 years later, I don't know what happened to that thermostat. It was gone. Maybe that's another life lesson, but nonetheless. What I want to share with you is that over the next 40 years, even though it was probably $3 or $4, probably only a couple days after I'd stolen it is when the guilt started to set in, because I knew better. I was taught thou shalt not steal, but yet I did. And over the years, I'll bet there hasn't been a year go by that I haven't thought about John Johnson and Niall Boyle, the owners of Johnson Drug, and how I stole a thermostat from them in 1973. So, guess what? I never repaid it. I never told them about it. So I guess it was about 3 years ago now. I think it was 2012. My parents decided to sell the home that I grew up in Rexburg, Idaho, and move closer to their children in Utah. And so that was an emotional moment, selling the homestead, where I had so many wonderful memories of growing up. My goodness, one of 10 children with parents who are amazing still. So I went up and helped them load up the big truck, and my goodness, you can accumulate a lot of things. My mom and dad are both in their 80s. They had a lot of stuff that we loaded up into a couple of big trucks, and as we got finished, I thought to myself, I don't know when I'm going to be back in Rexburg, since mom and dad are selling the home. If I ever want to go make amends, today is the day to do it. And so my brother Derek was with me, and we were getting ready to get in the truck and start driving that truck from Idaho to Utah, about a 4.5, 5-hour drive. And I said, you got to give me a few minutes. And so I walked from my home I think it's 4 homes away from me. I walked to Niall and Moana Boyle's home and I knocked on their door, and they were home, thankfully. Dallin, come on in. Rexburg is a small town. We know each other. And so I came in and they said, what can we do for you? And I told them that I was here to ask for their forgiveness and to make amends for something I had done 37 years ago. And I told them about the thermostat that I had stolen from them. And they said, I don't remember how much it costs, but I've always wanted to make it right. And I've always put it off, but today is the day I want to make it right. And they said, well, that's fine. You can't believe, Dallin, how many people like you have knocked on our door over the years telling us that it's something they had stolen and also making amends. So that made me feel good. And I pulled out a $20 bill and I said, will this cover it? And he said, oh, that's more than enough. It probably cost $3. And I said, well, there's been interest over 37 years. So I said, well, if it'll make you feel better, you don't have to give us anything, but if it'll make you feel better, sure, we'll take the $20. So I gave him $20. Gave Moana and Niall a hug, thanked them for their understanding and their willingness to forgive me. And as I left on that winter day, Niall and Moana Boyle's home and walked back to my home, man, did I do so with a weight removed from my shoulders and my mind, knowing that I'd done the right thing. So I think that was the one and only time that I've physically stolen something, and I made it right. My advice to you today, the life lesson I have for you, is that if you have things that you've stolen in your past, make amends, and so that weight can be lifted from your shoulders. If you've injured another, make amends. Ask for forgiveness. That's all you can do. You can't control how they react to you, but you can do everything you can to ask for forgiveness, make amends, make restitution, and make a commitment that you're not going to do that again, and that you'll make a decision like I made, that thou shalt not steal, and I'm going to live that commandment. 8 is gate, thou shalt not steal. That's my life lesson for you today. Have a great day.